Hi everyone, I'm Eddie, and in this episode of Dice at Dusk, I'm going to be going over some board games for you and your significant other to bond over. So I have a few games here that my wife and I really enjoy playing. They're games that we get to the table very often, and they're all pretty easy. There's one that will take a little bit more to learn, so if you're just beginning, I'll tell you which two that I think that you should start with. One is it's a little bigger, as in real estate bigger, so table bigger, and it's a little harder to understand especially if you're just getting into this hobby. The first game, I'll jump right into it. The first game is Castle Ravenloft D&D. This is great for a couple that just loves, going through dungeon crawlers, slaying dragons. But this, there's a few of these. The one that I own is the Castle Ravenloft version, and it is fun. It's a tile laying game where you'll be building through the castle. You'll be building your castle and trying to find, monsters and having boss fights. But it's fun. It's pretty easy to pick up. As far as you think D&D, there's going to be a lot of rules, and there are a few. There's a ton of little tokens and a lot of punching out when you first get it. But a lot of it you could probably set aside. You're not going to be using a whole bunch of it all the time. But as you get further into it, you can add them in. Like there's little coffins that you can put on. You really necessarily don't need them when you start. All it is you can search them and they'll show you either monsters or maybe you'll find some kind of treasure. But this game is fun, and my wife, this one's a little harder to get to the table for me. I really enjoy it. My wife's not into that whole D&D thing, but she does. She likes it, and it's fighting and defending and attacking is a very easy concept in this, where you're just rolling and you're adding your ability and just trying to get over your monster's ability. So it's pretty easy to pick up and play. And I love tile laying games. It's great. It changes all the time. You can make up your own story. It does come with stories already in it, and little campaigns, I guess you can say, that are already in it. But half the time we just say, okay, we're going to go find this guy and we're going to try to beat him, and then just see what the dungeon or the castle in this case throws at us. But yeah, I recommend this. This is a pretty light game. You'll probably be overwhelmed when you see all the pieces, but it is fairly light and fairly easy, and the miniatures are great. I love having miniatures all over. It's just eye-appealing to me. The next game is the one that's a little bit more, I guess, it would be a little harder to learn. There's a lot more moving parts to it. But for that is the Dead of Winter. Dead of Winter is a game where you will be protecting your colony, but going out and trying to find food in these different locations. Food, weapons, everything that you would try to find in a zombie apocalypse, you'll be doing in this. So you'll be going out, searching a gas station, a school, locations like that, trying to find items both to feed your colony, because you have to keep feeding your colony. You don't want to starve. And you'll be finding weapons and, things that you can use during a zombie apocalypse. This game definitely can spread across your whole table. It doesn't look big when you take it out, but when you start spreading all of these things out on the table, you'll notice how much real estate you actually need to play it. It is a very, very fun game, so I do recommend it, really to anyone. But as far as co-op, though, this is a little different. When you're playing in groups, there's a hidden objective. So there will be something that you're trying to do that the group doesn't know that you're trying to do, right? So if you're trying to end a turn with a few cans of food in your hand, in your the cards that you have in your hand, then you have achieved your hidden objective if you do that. My wife and I, when we play this, we kind of throw that to the side. We still do use the crossroad cards, which are just, they're cards that and most of the time you're not going to use them, but if a situation matches up with what is said on the card, then you'll just go into, it's almost like a story mode. Something else will happen. And that's great for the game. It gives the game a little extra oomph, I guess I want to say. But for the most part, all you're doing is you're trying to protect and feed your colony. You have a whole bunch of different little mission and objective cards that you'll be choosing at the beginning of your game, and then you'll be trying to do that, or trying to complete that throughout the course of the game. But yeah, this is a very fun game. My wife, this is one that she wants to play. Like, she likes the zombie theme. I am a big fan, I guess it's, The Walking Dead kind of started that whole real big zombie theme. There's been a ton of things out there like Evil Dead, but for her, The Walking Dead made her love these types of games. Zombie themed games, stuff like that. I was more of a fan of the comic, or am more of a fan of the comic than the show, but what are you gonna do? But yeah, this one, it's real fun. Little bit harder to learn, but it is good, and I guarantee you'll have a good time with that. The last one I have is, it's said everywhere, and I know you guys are probably waiting for me to say it, but the last one is Pandemic. Pandemic, if you don't already own it, which a lot of people already do, it is a very good game. Is another, just like these ones, cooperative games that you will be trying to save the world from diseases, trying to cure diseases, and trying to stop the spread of these 4 diseases. And it is fun. You'll be playing different roles. Each role can do certain things. And my wife and I, especially the Legacy one is, if you get into this and you really like it, I would recommend. In Season 2 Legacy, I believe, just came out. But we're still in Season 1 Legacy. I would recommend going into that Legacy because it just changes the game, and the game constantly evolves as you go on, and it is really fun. But as for if you don't have any pandemics, I definitely would say for a nice, few glasses of wine, maybe a beer, and Pandemic is a good one. But yeah, that's it. I hope I kept this short enough. I really hope you enjoy this. Make sure you go to www.diceatdust.com, read some articles, reviews. I have reviews on there. But yeah, have a good one and have a great date night.